Hi guys, my name is Fabiola Ornelas, and I decided to watch the movie Miss Purple. Now, I chose Miss Purple because first the name is very catchy, so I was curious to know why was a movie called Miss Purple, and I also saw what it was about. I read online, and it was very interesting. So I decided to watch that film. So I did my research and I found out that none of the movie theaters close to me were premiering it. I live in the Concord area and I had to drive all the way to Berkeley, which is like 35 minutes away from where I live. And I went to the Shattuck, I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's like Shattuck or something like that, cinemas. Um, Here's my ticket. I went by myself. I didn't. Nobody went with me. I went by myself because I kind of wanted to do it as a self care thing, like watch a movie by myself and go eat something. So here's the ticket, Miss Purple. I seen it on Friday, the 21st, and I also found out that once I was there, that I had to pay for parking because there's no free parking in Berkeley area, downtown area. So I had to pay for parking. Very expensive date that I took myself, but the theater, it was like an old school like cinemas, like the theme was Egyptian, like there was um a lot of like old school vibes I got. Like it was very like back then in the 18th century, like it was like back then. um, it was very organized, like very fancy. The staff was amazing. There was no line because I bought my tickets online. I bought my tickets online because I thought since it was the only place that was premiering that movie, Miss Purple, it was gonna be sold out. So I bought my tickets online, so I didn't have to wait in line. I didn't have to stand. So I just showed my phone, showed my email, and I went straight in. Um, it was very nice. The movie theater was really clean, nothing what I'm used to from where I'm from. Very nice. The seats were very comfortable. I was the first one there. Nobody was there yet. And once people started coming in, I noticed that it was more of an older crowd. Like I was probably the youngest in there, and they were older crowd, and they came with friends, and mostly all the audience were Asians. And if it wasn't someone who was Asian, their friend was Asian or their boyfriend or girlfriend was Asian. Like nobody, I didn't see a lot of diversity. I'm Mexican, so I'm pretty sure I was the only Mexican in there. But I did notice that the audience were all Asian. And once the film started, once the film started, everybody got quiet, whatever. And what the movie was about basically was about a girl named Casey. She was Korean and was working at the karaoke place as a hostess in Koreatown in LA, and she was working there due to the fact that her dad was not well and they were taking care of him, a lady, and he had to get money to get by because she was the only one that was supporting her family. She wasn't getting help by nobody because their mom left them. Their mom left Casey, and I have notes I wrote down because I took a notebook. I took a notebook when I was watching the film. I took a notebook, even though I couldn't write because it was really dark, so I just used my phone. But I just transferred what I wrote down on my phone to my notebook. But Casey is a girl, the main character, and her brother Carrie. They're the only siblings that they have each other because their mom left them when they were young. She left with another man and left them behind, and her dad, because I guess he was a bum. So the mom left her family behind for to get a better future with another man. So it was very hard for them, and they struggled a lot. And they went through a lot of trauma due to the fact that they only had their dad, and their dad was very strict, and he was going through the depression, being alone, being a single father, and having to raise two kids by himself. So once they got older, Casey had to get a job that she didn't want to, but she had to just to get by and to help out with the family bills. And to the fact that her brother disappeared didn't even help her when they grew up. She was the one that was taking care of her dad by herself. And she was working as the hostess in the Korean town, but it was like a hostess, but not really. It was more like she was a person to flirt with the men that would go, and there was rooms, individually rooms. I don't know what they were used for, but I'm pretty sure it was like prostitution. So she would have to get ready, get pretty to go to work, get some tips because that's how she was making money. And while she was doing that, she would come home late, and she had a lady that would take care of her children. I mean, sorry, not her children, her dad. Sorry, I just got confused because somebody just passed by. I'm in school right now, but there was a lady that used to take care of her dad. So she would go to work. She would go to work while the lady used to take care of her dad, but her dad was really like in bad shape, and it was very hard to take care of him. That the lady left, and her name was Anita. She had to leave. She quit and told Stacy. I mean, yeah, she told Casey, you have to get your dad in the hospital. It's too much work. You can't, be taking care of him. I can't take care of him. It's too much. Like you got to get him into a home, a hospital home where he'll have a caregiver full time. She didn't want to do that, so she called her brother for help. Her brother did decided to come back, and he did. He helped out with the dad, but there was a lot of trauma, a lot of childhood trauma there. So there was a lot of unsolved issues. But the brother was helpful. Casey had a boyfriend, but not really a boyfriend, just somebody that would pay her for her time. His name was Tony. He was very controlling, very controlling, very he felt like Casey was his property basically, and to the fact that he bought her a Korean dress. I do not know how to pronounce this, the word for that, but it was a Korean dress and it was purple. Now he bought her this dress, and I believe it's because he wanted to show her like, you're my property. I bought you this because I got it like that. Now that I bought you this dress, you're my property, and I am in control of what you do because I buy you everything. And I bought you this beautiful dress that you couldn't buy yourself, and now I bought it for you. Now you owe me back. So that's why I think he bought her that dress. So the 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 relationship was very toxic. He was very abusive to the fact that one day she went to a party, and he was talking to his friends and introduced her as like his hoe, like whatever, and she felt very disrespected. She left, and she dealt with a lot of discrimination. Like she dealt with a lot of guys touching her and feeling on her doing drugs, her pretending she was happy just to get some tips, satisfy the man. It was like a sex symbol. She would get dressed all like that. Her work, she would interact with them very sexually, just trying to get, like, make some tips. So it was very sad that seeing her um, portray herself as a sex symbol was very sad, and it affected her health. It affected her mental health. That the fact that she decided to um, she decided to not do it as much. So she got with this guy named Otavio, who was Hispanic, and invited her to a quinceañera, which it's really cool because they brought the Mexican culture into the film. So she decided to change her life around a little bit, and sadly she went back to work, and it was that guy Tony who she had to help. Mind you, she wasn't talking to him for the disrespect that he has given her, and Tony was very very aggressive. His friend was very being aggressive. She didn't want to drink, and they were being very forceful to the fact that she was looking at this other girl that she was with getting abused and hit by one of the guy's friends. So the what happened was that the fight broke down, and Casey was fighting Tony and almost killed him with a glass of bottle. It got very bad. They were fighting because she was tired, and she got tired of being treated like nothing, like an object. So the fight was very bad, and in conclusion, when that happened, she decided to put her dad in the hospital. Her brother left because it was too much for him to handle, because he had a lot of going for himself that he couldn't even help his own dad because he had his own issues. So he ran away. Casey was left alone to put his dad in the hospital for a full time home care, like a caregiver. And I what stood out to me these scenes in the film was that Casey said that all the men in the karaoke reminds her of her dad because they all need somebody. Her dad needed her mom. That's why he acted the way he did. And the men that she works with the men that she works with, they're all lonely. They need somebody. That's why they act the way they act. So she said that, and to me, that threw me off. Like that caught my attention. And then also every time the movie will kind of like have like it will go blank for a little bit and then palm trees will come out and I'm like, why palm trees keep coming up? And I found out because at the end of the movie, the lady, the original the original actress who played Casey, she was at the cinemas and she did a Q&A. She did a Q&A. This is her. I don't know if you guys could see it, but that's her right there. She answered some questions and she said that the palm trees mean the meaning of the palm trees were a symbol that basically palm trees are not native from California. They come from all over and planted here like us. That's what the palm trees meant in the movie, and also her dad said that in the film. He said that every time she sees a palm trees to remind her that that's her dad because he came to this country um, like the palm trees did too. Like they're not from here, but they were planted here. So that I think that was pretty cool because I could relate to that. And then also the dress that Tony got her was purple. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason why the movie's called Miss Purple because that purple dress, excuse me, was a symbol of her living this life that she didn't want to, but she had to, and she felt like she had to feel attached to that lifestyle, property that somebody owning her. Excuse me, and it was a very draining draining movie to watch because it was so touching, but it was draining because like you feel bad for this person having to do what they have to do to get by, and being a woman, you cannot you could like I can relate to that because sometimes I feel like property. Sometimes I feel like someone like I have to do this like because men are entitled to treat you some type of way because you're the woman and he's the man and he's the boss. And especially in the Mexican culture that's very popular. We call it machismo, where guys usually men usually think that you're their property, like you're the one that has to cook and clean and take care of the kids because that's your job. So that's how I related to this film. That's how I relate to this film. But Tiffany Chu or Chow, I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but she played as Casey. She did a great job, and it was really great to see that I got to meet her. I'll show you guys the picture again. That's her right. Oh, that's her right there. I'm sorry it's blurry, but I got to meet the main actress, and it was a great experience. The film, it was very easy to understand because they had in text um, subtitles because it was in a different language I did not understand, but reading those in text subtitles was very cool because I could finally understand what the movie was about. The film, everything, the way it was directed, the visuals, the background music, it was very entertaining. It went with the theme of the movie. And what else would I like to say to end this video? Because I know it's pretty long already, but it was a very heartwarming movie to watch because it was about a woman who was, being manipulated and feel like she was property due to the fact that she had to do what she had to do to get money to get by to help her family. I do recommend this movie. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a very great movie. And yeah, that's my presentation on the movie Miss Purple.